So say you were here as a student in this school and as a teacher. So what do you think has stayed the same and what's kind of different now?
When I came, it was a grammar school, and I arrived way back in 1964 or something like that. All the teachers used to walk around wearing gowns to show that they'd been to university. They were fairly austere, they weren't as friendly as the modern teacher is, although some of them were quite nice, and generally speaking they were mostly old people.
Yeah. What were the punishments like?
Right, well, in the grammar school you crossed a teacher at your peril. They could give you a detention. If you were really, really rude, you got whacked, you got a cane. But usually teachers could just give you a good talking to, and usually the lash of the tongue was quite adequate, because kids by and large did not take teachers on, didn't know their rights and so on, and kids then were far less confident than they are now.
How much trouble have you ever gotten? What's the most that you've done?
I'm pleased to say that I've never done anything seriously wrong, certainly nothing that I get caught for. I wound up teachers, I wasn't a saint or anything like that. The favourite thing, I hate to admit it, I was a bus spotter in my youth, and so was my mate Mark, and we used to sit together on a pair of desks, and we get some old-fashioned wooden chairs here, and with my foot suitably entwined in them, I could actually make them open and close like the doors on a bus. So if the teacher came along, we used to shut the doors on. Which didn't make us popular. And I got banned from taking geography at O-level because I played noughts and crosses on the teacher's diagram of the glacier on the board. That's true, actually. They didn't let you take geography for that purpose. So, no, I never got caned. A mate of mine did. We used to have a vending machine out there that used to sell Coke, Pepsi in actual fact. You put an old-fashioned sixpence in, but you could put a 10-cent piece in. And one of my mates did that, and they found out who was it, and he got caned for using the wrong money.
Was it really that strict?
It was that strict.
Okay, so what was your highlights in your high school years and as a teacher?
Well, as a child, I was never very good academically. I was a bit lazy, but always into sport. So I think the highlight was when I got picked to run for Middlesex when I was in the lower six. 100 metres. So that was my crowning achievement because I held the school record then and I still hold it now, all these years later. And as a teacher, I can't think of any one big thing that's been really, really great. Now, maybe there has, but I really do, it's sad to say, I get my kicks out of seeing kids smile when they suddenly understood something, or I've got it, or a lesson goes well. So lots of little things make me happy rather than one big thing.
Okay, so did you have a high school sweetheart when you were in school?
I had two, I suppose. I got dumped by the second one, which is most upsetting, but we won't go on about that. But the first one, I won't reveal her name because she's still alive. When I was in the fourth year, year 10 as is, she put me up against the wall outside the head teacher's room outside the school one Christmas evening, and I got snobbed well and truly. Didn't really have any choice in the matter, I have to say. It wasn't unpleasant, but that was the first time I really got snobbed. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go. I'm just thinking about that. Yes, that's fine.
What else do you want to have to say to the students so they can watch this?
Well, as I say, I hear myself saying things to students that my teachers said to me. And one of the things that I think all adults tell kids is, although a year might seem a long time when you're young, years actually go by very quickly. And a lot of kids waste this very precious time that they have in school and think that they can do it tomorrow, next week. And then they suddenly find they've run out of time. They don't actually make use of this great opportunity. It's very difficult to learn when you're older, and you've got to work and all the rest of it. It's all in a low go. Wave your arm. Yeah. Wave a bit more. No, it's not going to So yeah, I think that's what I would say to people, and they're going to say it's just another fart saying this again, isn't it? But yeah, enjoy your school life, but make use of it, because once it's gone, you're not going to get it back.
He's been in the school for how many years, sir?
Too long, about that long.
Oh. So,
I'm not going to tell you how many years, but it's more than 20.
okay, that's good. What's still the same then in the school?
The main buildings are much the same. There are some staff who remain the same, but much depends on how far you want me to look back, because many things have changed. Some of the playground areas and the like, and the old gym remain the same, but much of it is very new.
Okay, what about in terms of like staff and students, as in the people of the school, how much have they changed or stayed the same?
Right, if we take the staff first, the people who've been there for some time, since the olden days, if I can call it that, would be myself, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Dare, Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Kingshot, who now works as an advisor to the examination secretary, Miss Casey.
Yeah.
They're about the oldest that I can think of at the moment.
Okay.
And then what has changed, I think, on the staffing? Well, we've got more people. I think over the years the quality of teaching has improved quite substantially, and has the style of teaching as well. And dare I say it, I think the standard of teaching now is probably better than it's ever been, and is probably better than it was from the olden days. In terms of the students, there has been tremendous change, and not least because when I came here we used to be an upper school, so the only boys and girls on site were from year 10 and year 11 upwards, and then years 7, 8 and 9 used to be at what is now known as Heston School. So we were the senior part of that arrangement. That has changed, we're now all through. I think there is much more diversity amongst the student body in many ways, and that diversity would be reflected in ethnicity, in people's values, in their culture, and also their social class.
Okay, some people have said that as soon as Miss John came in, the school picked up their standard by quite a lot. Do you agree with that?
I think a lot changed when Mrs. John came in. The most significant change, I think, occurred when she was appointed as head teacher, although she clearly did have a profound effect when she was deputy head. I think she's done more as head teacher, I've got to say that. And her vision, commitment, her leadership has really enabled the school to push on to very high standards where now we are regarded, I think, locally and in Ofsted terms as outstanding. But I keep returning to the point, I think most of that has been achieved since she's head teacher, but it has been an unremitting drive for constant improvement.
So what are some of your best memories at the school? Even though there must be loads, but still.
I've got loads of memories. My best memories. Here we go then. I remember once, well, I don't know if you know this, but I used to be a head of physical education at Lambton School, not an assistant head teacher. And when I first started off in my very, very, very early days here, I remember one winter, it was so warm, the air temperature, that in a very quiet moment on site, when nobody was around, I was sunbathing stripped to the waist in January.